So I got an email from somebody I had worked with many years ago. I used to do conference calls and stuff teaching moment mindfulness.
Okay.
And this is a person who's coming back to me after exploring mindfulness and meditation and all these other things. And now he's convinced that this thing that we teach here on this channel is what he needs to learn. And
Okay.
he's been watching our videos and he's been practicing. And I'm going to meet with him Friday morning, and I'm really excited because he's a
Oh,
great guy. And and if you're curious as to what I'm going to talk to him about, we're going to discuss it at the end of the video today. I'm going to give you the same indoctrination, more or less, into the exercise that I'm going to give him on Friday. So
introduction.
I thought that was really cool because I work with people and then they drift off and they don't quite get
Yeah.
it. And I feel sad, because I want them to get it. And when somebody comes back and says, "Okay, I'm ready now," um,
Mm-hmm.
you
Kind of
know,
lights you up.
yeah, it makes me feel good. So the topic
Nice.
today, courtesy of Kristina Black, my partner, who's a massage therapist, cranial sacral therapist. I'm Dr. Mark Waller. I've been a marriage family therapist for 26 years. Um, but your idea was, and you're on. Tell us what the idea was for today.
Oh, just the power of letting go of should. The idea of should. What should does to us.
So
Yeah.
this idea, I my camera keeps moving around, and I'm not sure if I'm slouching, if my spine is giving way, or what's going on. Anyway, this when I started looking into this and looking at some of the bullets you had shared with me, I was kind of interesting. And this idea here, should, is the voice of internalized control, not conscious choice. And I'm,
Yeah.
I'm I'm wondering if you can pick up on that a little bit and tie that into what you were thinking about when you came up with this idea of should. The shame
Yeah.
of should.
Well, so as a lion, which is a relationship dynamic that we talk about on this channel of lion and unicorn. A lion is someone whose primary like negative feeling they struggle with is shame. And I've noticed that when I thought about circumstances that were the most difficult to me, it's because I felt a sense of hopelessness that people thought I should be doing something
Uh
that
huh.
I didn't agree with them. And for whatever reason, I couldn't reconcile the difference between their shoulds and what I should feel,
Okay.
and so I just sort of realized, and also I've talked with a therapist about it who she was encouraging me to stop using the word with myself altogether.
Really.
Yeah, she just said it's like coercion. So anyway, when I was kind of thinking about those things together, I thought it could be a really powerful episode and concept for people. And now when I hear other people say should, I don't want to say they should not do that, but my brain immediately goes, other options they could have said was would like to, would benefit from, like, switching to these different options
Well, knowing
automatically.
you the way that I know you, to me, should when you hear the word should, it brings up enormous internal resistance and anger.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Any other pastors' kids out there? Woo woo.
That's where it comes from for sure.
Yeah,
So, in a spiritual sense, what it does, what should does, is it replaces presence with obligation.
absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you're going to have a lot more to say about this than I do because should is not a burden that I carry very much. So,
Okay. Well, like, so for me, when you say the obligation, and I know you have a slide coming up here that I told you nailed my entire childhood. um, but it was just the sense of that instead of living in this presence now, there becomes some, like you're saying, an obligation, and later you're going to say a performance.
Uh-huh.
And I think that was maybe the a huge reason I ever started like masking
Uh-huh.
as an, you know. So like it's just very interesting to think about what if I could have been raised in a scenario where there weren't so many shoulds, but
It's funny you say that because I was raised in a Catholic home,
okay.
and the we were taught the Beatitudes. And
Uh-huh.
I think the first beatitude is guilt. And
Oh, really?
I'm just kidding. And
Oh,
the second one is should.
okay, yeah, guilt and shit. Okay.
So
Uh,
anyway, if everything we talk about today rings true with you in any way, um, you don't have to stop here. You can go deeper with us in our Thought Masters community. Just scan the QR code. It will take you to a page that will explain what that's all about, and we'd love to have you join us.
we could have conversations together and have a great time doing it.
And the other thing I should say is we're in the process of kind of revamping the membership site and make it more fun and more accessible. So um, I think this was your point, wasn't it? Each should implies that there is something wrong with this moment.
Uh, maybe. I mean, I do think that should takes you away from enjoying the moment you're in.
Uh huh.
Like you'll say often that presence happens partially when you're not looking for a better moment.
Right.
And shoulds to me sound like you do think there's something that could be better about it.
It seems to me in that regard, it's almost like the ego um, working backwards against you.
Right. Like, okay, here, this is like what's nailing it. Uh, with shoulds, shoot, I lost it as soon as I said it. That. I don't like when I do that, but it happens to
That-
my human
That's all
brain.
right. That's all right.
Uh, I think maybe like even, oh, that's what it was. Control. It's about control. Like, should implies that you're supposed to have all this control or like that things were only acceptable in one certain way. And like, so many times that's not true. I think, like, and then when you discount what's happening in front of you because something should be a different way, or even if you have the rare moment where everything's as it should be, which will go away, it like makes you think that you're supposed to have some sense of control over maybe things that you don't.
What I meant when I was brought in the ego is the usual trick of the ego is to convince you to look for a better moment. You can't be present because there's a better moment just around the corner. When it comes to
Right. Like
when
if
it
this
comes
was different.
when it
Sorry.
comes to should, it's the ego kind of using reverse psychology,
Tell me
saying,
like an example.
"Well, it should be a better moment because there's something wrong with this one."
So it's like casting criticism on the moment. Yeah.
Exactly
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Well, we
So
invite you to, oh, go ahead.
no, no, that's all right. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, we're inviting you to soar with us. We love having these conversations. I think um, I just saw Mark's new marker thing and I saw my cue to start saying we invite you to soar with us. Sorry.
Well, that's good because I'd forgotten to put it in any kind of an order. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Well, and that's what we do here on this channel and on our site, which you can get to from the QR code. So,
I think what makes us unique is that this is not a lecture. This is coming from our own experience, and a lot of the experiences we're using are happening in almost real time, like last week. You know,
right. Right.
this is not some dry thing we're bringing out of the dustbin. I mean, when you and I first met, I introduced you to some of these things, and you actually had the experience that you're sharing now.
Hmm. Oh
And
yeah, for sure.
so, yeah, it's this is not self help. This is something entirely different. So we would invite you to like and subscribe and click the bell icon so when we have new episodes, it's always fresh, you
It's
know.
like it's not self-help, it's self-discovery.
Well, it's transformation, you know.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, just being
transformation.
able to kind of view life from a new way that you weren't capable of before. Pretty amazing.
So should points away from now.
Mm-hmm.
So you can either go with the power of should or the power of now.
Right. And I guess what maybe what point we're not making for new watchers is that experiencing presence is like a blissful, it's so joyful to us that I don't know, it's almost seems like it's maybe the happiest way we could be. What do you think
That's,
about that, Mark?
it's the substrate of joy that's there all the time that we don't experience because we think things should be different.
Right. Yeah, and it puts us in away from a place of thriving and towards a place of struggle, which
Exactly.
also we're hardwired to do as creatures. So it takes a little extra effort to kind of go outside of what our instincts want to do. And
I guess
yeah,
what I'm hearing the direction we're going here is that um, if you're working on being present, fully present, if there's a should hanging in the air, then that's something you need to kind of really wrap your head around. And what is that, and where is it coming from? Because
right,
that is battling the present moment,
right. And we had a fun way of kind of playing with that.
which is
Well, like, I don't know if you made a slide for it, but we talked about trying to, instead of just saying, oh no, there's a should, get rid of it. Ah. Just going, okay, why do I think that should be that way?
exactly.
And start to get down to like the underlaying reason. You might ask yourself why three, four times to get to the real reason,
Uh huh.
but you should be able to figure out how it relates to your childhood, right?
Exactly. We're going to go there. Exactly.
Yeah.
So when you're
So,
sitting there thinking, I should lose weight, or I should exercise more, or I should eat healthier, what's, you know, why aren't you eating healthy? That doesn't address that at all. The should of it takes you down a completely different path.
right,
It actually never answers those questions. If you have some kind of a lifestyle choice or habit or something that you feel is not productive in your life, instead of working on that, saying I should be different is a cop out.
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I okay, here we go. Performance versus transformation. Can you hear me?
I can.
Good. Because I got a little notice that said I might be muted.
Okay. Yep. Performance versus transformation. And that's what why asking the whys matters at all. Because before we were performing, whether it was for ourselves or for others, what we thought should be,
Mm-hmm.
versus like checking in with yourself and, making sure that you actually agree with
Uh-huh.
the trained position that you have and that you do feel like it's in alignment with who you are and where you're going.
To me, it's kind of like judgment. Performance requires judgment. Transformation requires letting go of judgment.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you're judging, you're not, there's no transformation happening in judgment, but what you're doing is evaluating your performance. This is a little off the topic, but I hear this all the time in my therapy practice. People, say some husband will come in and he'll say, he's working on the relationship and he says, I'm trying to make her feel like I care.
I'm trying to make her feel like I care.
Yeah. And instead of, I'll tell you a story. Years ago, I had somebody come in, and he said over and over again in our session, he said it 14 times, "I'm trying to show her that I care." And I got up and I said, "I got a better idea." And on the board, I had a whiteboard, and I wrote what he said. "You're trying to show her that you care." Underneath that, I said, "I have a better idea." And I wrote, "Be caring." So when you take the performance out of "I'm trying," all
Hmm.
you're left with, okay, what's keeping you from actually just caring?
Hmm.
That's a little tangential, but you get the idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I would like to hear some things that people like, some shoulds that people are going to reconsider.
Oh, put them
I
in the
think that would be
comments.
cool. Yeah. What are some ways that your brain sort of kept you a little more caged or like cut off from knowing parts of yourself better?
Can I ask you a question? Do you relate should with guilt?
Well, if people are disappointed at me because of what they perceive I should have done, then like yeah, I can have a moment to like try to think through whether their feelings toward me are justified or not.
Okay.
Like if I actually agree with their shoulds, and if I don't, then I have a little work to do to like separate myself from guilt because I realize I don't think I'm doing something wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
So as you said earlier, shoulds come from childhood.
Hmm.
And so one of the things we can do is when we find ourselves trapped in a should is to ask ourselves, how does this relate to my childhood?
Right.
Because
Yeah.
and let me just lay this out. So when we're kids, about between the ages of 2 and 6, maybe 2 and 5 would be better, we create an emotional roadmap for what life is all about, a model of the world.
Hmm.
And that's where those shoulds come from. And so if we're constantly reflecting back, okay, when I feel this should, this obligation, this falling short, this judgment about myself, what is the emotional underpinning of that, and how does it relate to the way I learned to interact with people when I was a child?
Okay, say that again, but easier. What's
Okay.
going on behind the scenes, and why did I learn to do that as a kid?
Right. For instance, if let's say you had a critical mother,
Yeah,
okay, a critical mother is going to set up a lot of shoulds, isn't it?
sure.
Okay, well, today though, you might not know that those shoulds are related to that dealing with that criticism.
Right.
And as we've said in many of our
Yeah, to me, they've always been there.
yeah, that's right. And so
Yeah.
if you reflect and ask the question, how does this relate to my childhood? You will see that you can connect the dots between the should that you're struggling with today and whatever, you know, in whatever way you fell short as a child in your perception.
Hmm. Yeah. Deep stuff. So I could see this like could you see this topic really pulling a lot of heavy emotions out of people as they dig into it?
Well, there's always, let me just say this. It can happen, but it's not necessary.
Mm-hmm.
There's a myth in the therapeutic community that you have to re-experience these emotions, and I just don't believe that at all.
Yeah.
If you do when you start recalling some of these things, you put yourself in the same emotional state you were in when the programming happened.
So that's why you kind of get activated
That
again.
that that that's right. But I don't believe that has any therapeutic value. That's just a way
Right.
of re-experience, because you've triggered something and now the trigger is there.
Well, I can tell you, like in therapy, when someone starts bringing up their own thing, they're like activating their own trauma. When someone's on the table in a body working session, um, they will, um, I'm sorry. I just feel out of it today. Well, so it's like the shoulds start coming up. They can get emotional. Oh, I know what it was. They're really like, I think that you're right. Like just having awareness that something is there and why it's there
Right.
can be enough to clear it in body work. And I do often see like such similarities with psychological work too.
Yeah, you and I talked about this in our last session, and I have this really weird experience because when people start doing this work, I will intentionally have them trigger that. I'll just say, okay, what does this relate to? And there's a moment when they see it, and the emotion will come up, and they'll start tearing up, and they'll start laughing at the same time.
Yeah.
And the
They're
reason
like
they're
releasing it.
Well, the reason they're crying and laughing is they're crying because they're re-experiencing the pain of whatever it was, but they're laughing because they see how ridiculous it is that they're applying it to the current situation because it doesn't belong.
Oh, okay.
And it's just funny, you know.
Hmm.
My mother criticized me, so I'm cleaning the house 5 times a day. I mean,
I
silly
know.
is
Right,
how
right,
silly
right.
is
When we
that?
see how we actually let it, yeah, affect us.
Right. And I've had that
Yeah,
happen many, many times where they laugh and they cry at the same in that moment of insight. Those two
yeah,
things happen.
yeah. Interesting. That can happen in body work too. I wonder if some of that's like going on, whatever the same phenomenon is.
Yeah, well, the basic thing to start the process is to ask the question.
Yeah,
And what is the question? How does this feeling of obligation, this feeling of inadequacy, how does this relate to my childhood? Now, let me just say, when you ask this question, don't try to answer it.
right. Let it hang there. Let something inside of you answer it.
Exactly, because as you've said many times, Christina, your non-conscious mind already knows the answer.
Yeah. And
And the
it's
more,
your teammate. It wants to work with you. You're
right.
asking a question and it's really going to try to help you.
And if you get your ego out of the way by not trying to analyze it, then my experience is within a few days or weeks, all of a sudden images and memories start to come up.
Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, like to even further that point, keeping your ego out of it, like you and I will even say sometimes while we're asking, I really need help. Could you please really give me this answer?
Right, right. That's exactly
I
right.
can't do this on my own. Please help me.
So, you know,
Yeah.
that leads us to an exercise that we teach everybody that leads to a huge awakening experience uh, called
Absolutely.
called Moment Mindfulness. And somewhere along the way, spontaneously, Christina, who's got this amazing ability to do these creative things, came up with this diagram.
Thank you. I'm glad you like it.
I do, because it just summarizes the whole thing. Do you want to take us through it?
I think we should just do it together right now.
Okay.
So, everybody watching, sit with your eyes open. And I want you to imagine that you can literally feel the front of your brain behind your forehead. And just know, for the sake of this exercise, that that is where you are an observer. And so sit there and feel yourself being an observer, feel the front of your forehead, and just wait for the next everyday thought to come by. Your thought might be the next everyday thought to come by, right? It could be It could be, I'm comfortable on this couch. It could be, this video should be over. It doesn't really matter as long as it's non emotional. You wait for the thought to come by. And then as soon as you notice the thought, you're done. You should notice that your head's a little quieter. Hear that?
So
It's so good.
instant you become the observer of a thought, the voice in your head stops
Mm-hmm.
every single
Mm-hmm.
time.
Yep. And the more you do this exercise, you will start rewiring your brain and have a mental, emotional, and spiritual awakening Mark
Boom.
has led over 5,000 clients through this exercise, and it has worked. It worked on me. It can work on you. So just keep doing that exercise we just did. I did it when I would step into the restroom because I closed the door and be by myself. But
Mhm.
there's different times you could do it. So just practice it one time and you're done, and then you can do it again in a few hours. And we
So
do this kind of stuff. We talk about different kinds of awakenings you can have on our site as well, which you can reach through the QR code down below.
So if anything in this conversation has opened something up to you, and you want to go deeper with us in the setting of a community, Thought Masters
Mm-hmm.
is that community. So just scan the QR code; it will take you where you need to go. And I want to make a couple points that you have on your illustration here.
Yeah. Tell us the
What
do nots.
while you're doing this, don't analyze the thought. Don't care.
Mm-hmm.
We don't care where it came from. We don't even care what the content of the thought is. So
Mm-hmm.
you're asking, okay, let me notice the next thought. Maybe the next thought is, I'm going to buy ice cream at the store. Okay, you don't judge why that thought came into your mind. All you do is become the observer. You don't talk back to the thought. Go away, stop, and
Mm-hmm.
don't worry about where it came from. And
Yeah.
finally, the instant that the voice in your head stops through observation, that's the end of the exercise.
Mm-hmm.
Don't
Yep.
look for don't look for an outcome. Don't worry about a result. Just
Yeah.
do the exercise because your brain will be rewired and the transformation will happen by itself.
Sounds good. I
Okay.
think they got it. I'm excited we got to do it together too. That was fun. I'll do that
I
again.
I hope you enjoyed this, and in the comments below, let us know if you tried this exercise, how it worked, and we can do a follow up on this and help people learn this the way we've learned it, and it'll change your life. It really will.
It will.
All right,
Yep.
everybody, thanks so much for joining us.
See you on the next video.
Bye bye.
Bye.